I thought we would check in with The Last of Us Season 2 because they're still trying to figure out why people stopped watching this show, which I find funny, and I'm sure many of you do as well. So, I did a little search, and this is because I saw this Hollywood Reporter post on X saying, Last of Us ratings declined during Season 2. But why? Because it's such a mystery to these people. They don't get it. They really think that this is some kind of masterpiece of storytelling, high art bullshit. It's so crazy to me because it's not. They lost the plot with Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 1, fantastic game, a great season of television. But after he rescues Ellie from the hospital, you might as well just turn it off because that will be the ending in my mind forever. So before we get into that, I did a little search. I was just kind of curious. And they're still hyping up Season 3, talking about how excited they are for Abby. Oh, my God, Abby's going to save the show. She's so amazing. This show ended, man, when was it? It's been a month at least. And they're acting like this shit is still the hottest thing out there. The ratings crashed. They lost 50% of their audience. It's amazing. It should be studied. Like, if you are in some kind of script writing class or, like, literature class or something, like, this story should be used as an example of what not to do. But seriously, all I did was search The Last of Us. And look at all. These are from, like, 2 days ago. Season 3 confirms major changes, and that said Abby is going to be there. Here we go. Caitlin Dever tapped to lead The Last of Us Season 3 in the wake of Season 2's plummeting ratings. She's going to save it. Finally, Abby is taking the front. She'll be the lead. Man, everybody just needs to see Abby. It's going to save the show. Really? That's where you're putting your money on, huh? That's where you're betting on Abby. Okay. But here's this latest quote. This is from today. And I could sit here and just make fun of this. Like, just looking at this, man. 2 days? Look at all these articles that came out within 2 days. Here's a bunch within today. Like, I can't believe this. I was just curious from fucking watching this drop right here. They're talking about Season 4. IGN, The Last of Us TV show composers strongly suggest Season 4 is coming. Oh, my God, I hope it does. But why did they decline? We can't figure it out. Maybe is there some lessons learned from Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones is not a cub and wolf story. Okay? That's what Season 1 of this show was. You took the theme of the show and completely changed it into something nobody wanted because Neil Druckmann has this strange muscle mommy fetish. I don't know what's going on with that guy. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Tom King. He definitely has a type. If you don't know who Tom King is, he's a garbage comic book writer that Hollywood loves for some reason. That alone makes me worried about the future of the DC Studios movies because they're putting Tom King all over the place. He's going to be in the Supergirl production, and I just heard something about a Mr. Miracle thing. So that might end up being a shit show. Aside from Superman, we'll see what happens with Superman. Tom King's not involved in that. But he is a part of the Supergirl garbage. So that run they're basing that on, I know this is a little bit of a tangent, but absolutely hated it. Supergirl's like this depressed drunk. I have no hope for that. Another Warner Brothers production, at least, so their credits got turned to junk, so we'll see how this works out for them. But there, we should take lessons from Game of Thrones. Maybe that'll help. Granted, second seasons often perform lower than the debut seasons, but Last of Us is a show where potential growth seemed very possible, if not likely. The show is a heavily serialized, Emmy-winning sensation and had 2 years to accumulate new fans. Yeah, they all watched season 1, loved it, and then season 2 rolled around, and the character that they all loved got a golf club thrown up against his head repeatedly. I wonder why they dipped out. The season 2 trailers looked fantastic. Reviews were extremely strong, if not just a tad softer than season 1. 92% fresh and Rotten Tomatoes versus 96% for the first season. There was plenty of marketing and publicity, and several buzzy HBO dramas have grown their audiences with their debut seasons, such as Game of Thrones and White Lotus. So what gives? I'll give them credit because they actually address it. There is, of course, the obvious. The new season's second episode brutally killed off the show's beloved co-lead, Joel. What? Leaving his ward, Ellie, to embark on a quest for revenge against his killer, Abby. It could be as simple as that. Yes, absolutely it is. And also a lot of the cringe. Bella Ramsey was a terrible choice for Ellie. She worked in the first season. She is not capable of leading this show. And that has been shown time and time again. She became a meme. Then, of course, the dialogue of the show didn't help. The whole I'm going to become a dad thing. They really ramped up the bullshit with this season. I can't wait for season 3. You think they ramped it up in this one? Wait till Abby slides her biceps into this one. It's going to be a shit show. And yes, there are fans who have criticized Ramsey's portrayal of Ellie in season 2. But there is actually evidence pushing back on that as being the culprit as well. Get to below. Oh, really? There's evidence saying that people actually liked it. Well, then why didn't they watch the show? Why didn't they watch the show then? They didn't watch it. The numbers do not lie. The fan reaction in reviews do not lie. They're so blown away when people reject their shit that they made sure at the top of the article to remind you that critics loved it. And they're so blown away that regular people think it's trash. I think they just like being miserable. Or maybe none of them had a father in their life, or they hated their father, so they liked seeing Joel get killed, and they lived through that moment. I don't know. It's just crazy to me that every time fans reject something and they like it, they turn right to name calling and attacking the people that don't like it. Now, they're not doing it here. At least they somewhat admit, yeah, Ellie, some people don't like her, and Joel died. We're making progress with these people on this one. They go on to talk about Game of Thrones here. Not the same story at all. Totally different kind of story that's told with Game of Thrones. Yeah, people die all the time in Game of Thrones. It's not the same. This story is about the wolf and the cub. It's about a father and a daughter. That's what separated this from other zombie shows and stuff. Not the stupid fungus thing. It was the two characters that everybody loved. and they came together, and, Joel found happiness again through her, and she got to have a father figure. That's what people really liked about this. That's what makes it different from The Walking Dead and all this other stuff, that it focused on that. And, I think a lot of people saw themselves, like a lot of parents, a lot of fathers saw themselves in Joel. Would you go in there and save your daughter, kid, son, whatever, if they were about to, get killed? I mean, be damned, humanity. Yeah, a lot of us would go in there and save our kid. There's a lot of things in that a lot of people can relate with. And they turned it totally into something else. The subverting expectations bullshit that people don't like. Rarely is it done in a way that, well, actually, it can be done. But it's like the Hollywood trend for the past few years, this subverting expectations shit. So they go to talk about the game. Let's look at the sale of the Last of Us games. The first game, which inspired the first season, sold more than 20 million copies. The second game sold more than 10 million copies. These numbers are out of date, but by all reported accounts, the second game sales lagged compared to the first. You got it. Finally, someone brings that up. Yeah, it shows you that it lost a lot of its audience. I would argue the sales are actually a lot. They're a lot wider apart than you think, because the first one got released a bunch of times. I don't know exactly all of the numbers. Maybe it's 20 million combined, but even if this is right, I mean, that's still half of the audience gone, which is a lot. That's you had potential to grow it higher than 10 million. You could have made 40 million, 30 million on part 2. That didn't happen because of word of mouth spreading that it's shit. But it's pretty funny to see them somewhat come to terms with this finally. I'm just waiting for the Emmys to start up, because this show is going to win all kinds of awards. Get ready. Get ready for that. That's going to be fun. Watch them award the shit out of this story. It's almost like it's done out of spite. Like they're going to give this best series, all kinds of shit. Just wait. I'm calling it right now. It'll probably be a sweep, just like they did with the game during the Game Awards. It won everything except for a couple of categories. It's almost like it's out of spite. Oh, you peasants, plebs didn't like it? Well, here's all these awards just to prove you wrong. Anyway, before we go, I got a comic book out there, Mighty Golden Patriot. You can find it over at Ripascend. And I think you should check it out. We got 4 beautiful covers here. You can pick all of them up. You can also get them individually. This is cover D. This is cover C, our foil. Cover B, cover A. I think they're all beautiful. But if you want to just jump in, cover D is only $17. So check it out. Link in the description. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
The year is 1945. World War II rages from the halls of Buckingham Palace to the shores of the Nile River. Even now, the clash between freedom and tyranny is about to boil over. Somewhere in North Africa, 2 American flyboys are soaring high on a reconnaissance mission, searching for clues to a peculiar new obsession with the occult gripping the Nazi high command.